There we go. Okay. Excuse me. I just got a survey from YouTube asking how satisfied I am with live streaming. Okay. I'm gonna pop this out. That sounded really dirty. I was talking about the chat. I'm semi-happy with the live stream. Okay, there we go. All right. At least I'm able to use the mic now. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else has an iPhone 8 or not, but it doesn't like charging while you're doing. I mean, it charges, but it's not like it's like it doesn't charge fast enough while you're doing other things. Like I had it plugged in for the last 15-20 minutes until it just died there. So I mean, it's charging right now. It's doing fine, but for whatever reason, it was not liking the streaming while charging. Yeah, when I go to the live streaming section of YouTube, I have to hit pop out. So if I don't say it with some context, it sounds like I'm saying something extremely dirty. So wait, what do you play now, Aaron? Do you play guitar? Is that what you play? Because we were talking about drums the other day, and I thought you said that you didn't play drums. It is a PG-58. It's the slightly cheaper version, I think, of the SM58. But it still sounds pretty good. I don't know about what it sounds like over live stream. I don't have my earphones. Oh, cool. Excellent. Well, shoot, if you're local sometime, maybe we can do like a music collab. Oh, yeah, that's right. You hit me up on Twitter the one time. Use a PG on 50. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I used to work in an electronics store back in the day doing IT work, and so I got an amazing discount on anything in the store. Oh, welcome back, Faye. Yeah, the phone died even though it was plugged in. Apparently streaming just took too much out of it. But yeah, I've always loved this. And PG-58 is what I always used. We didn't really play on too many big stages, but it's what I used when we would go do like little parties or whatever and play for our friends. We actually got my friend's dad hired us to come in the one time to just to piss off his neighbors. They were, I forget why exactly it was, but they were sending weird. Oh yeah, they were reporting the vehicles in his driveway as basically being an eyesore, and so the city would come out and issue tickets. And so to get back at him, he hired our band to come in and play as loudly as possible in his garage. So we had a punk concert in the middle of his garage just to make the neighbors angry. So that was the most fun not concert, but rock show that I've ever put on, was specifically to make the neighbors angry. Isn't that what happened to Korn? Didn't the bassist join the church or something, or quit the band? I can't remember. I remember something about that back in the day. I should try and find my Korn photos. That's another thing you can't say without context. Well, corn anything, because everybody will either think you're just strange or talking about the actual band. Scientology. Wow, that's an interesting one. We do have a Scientology office around here. I have seen it. I do remember that. That is a strange one. So he does the whole e-meter thing now. That's interesting. That'd be another fun one to do some videos on for 539. It wouldn't really be adventure travel. Yeah, that's my ukulele back there in all its glory. Oh, no, I'm not going to... No, I would never join Scientology. I want to do some videos on it for sure, though. I would love to get a reading. That would be a fun episode to do an e-meter reading. I don't know what it means. I don't know if anybody working in Scientology knows what it means either. I hope there's no Scientologist in here that I'm, like, offending greatly. Oh, you can't lose me now. I'm plugged into the wall with a computer. This is my iMac, so we're not going anywhere for a while. But yeah, I remember watching the what was it? South Park has a whole episode on Scientology. Yeah, everybody lost me. My phone died again. I thought it was going to be enough. It got down to about 20% battery life again, and then I plugged it in, and I thought that it was going to be fine, but apparently it just wasn't enough in time, so it died. It's charging right now. We have a lot of cults around here. There's one I can't remember, so if I'm saying an actual church, forgive me. I don't want to like exclude anybody that just goes to church or whatever, but like there was like one called like the Glorious Church of something. It's like a weird cult. We might have closed them down by now. I can't remember, but I actually had a friend that joined that cult for a while and then got out of it. I don't know what they believe, but yeah, that stuff is scary. The cults are not something to mess with. Never mess with anybody that says you have to take your life for some weird event. Like the whole, what was the Heaven's Gate and all that. That was so tragic. All of them were, you know. But, yeah, that's so weird. But, yeah, I feel like at least with, like, Scientology, they don't try to talk you into hurting yourself, at least. I mean, it's a crazy story. The idea of a 15 billion-year-old alien releasing, releasing spirits on Earth that create all the bad feeling. I can't even remember. But yeah, South Park has a whole episode on it, and it actually tells the real story that supposedly you're not allowed to know until you're such a high-level Scientologist or whatever. But it's pretty much public knowledge now. But yeah, it's weird. But yeah, I would love to know what exactly. Yeah, if you go to my main, well, I guess I can't give instructions. If you guys will have to give instructions, because if you can't see me stream, then what use am I? So yeah, help them out, guys. But yeah, I would love to see See, I need to hook up with What's Inside and do a collaboration with them, and then we'll do What's Inside an e-meter. Even though the What's Inside people are way out in Utah, that'd be a very long drive just to do a collaboration, but that'd be well worth it. I love those guys. And speaking of people from Salt Lake City that do amazing YouTube work, if you guys have never heard of Sean Duras, he's another great channel that I watch all the time. Just an amazing YouTuber, an amazing business person, and someone that I really have learned a lot off of. I'm gonna type. Why does it's like the chat attaches itself to every single stream, so even if you guys lose the chat. Oops. I should finish typing. But another one of my dream channels to work with. Although those guys are so nice, and I talk, well, not really talk with them, but I've been following a few of the members of that channel now on Instagram, and I've been thinking that I might be able to get in contact with them enough to maybe do a collaboration here in the future. They're very nice and very open to the idea of working with smaller YouTubers, so I'm hoping that that'll work out here. But a great group of guys. Good night, Debbie. Yeah, it might be me, which in that case you wouldn't be able to hear me saying this, but some amazing problems here tonight with the whole streaming, although some very fun streams too. Oh, is it Aaron making the live stream hang on for dear life again? Alright, I'm just gonna type out it all out in the chat. No, I can't type. I don't know. Yeah, if one of you wants to type that we started a new live stream, that'd be great, but I'm assuming he's referring to the nearby city. Thank you, Jen. Yeah, I don't know why I would think that the chat would die too, but it must just immediately connect it to the new live stream. That's interesting. I did not know that. I guess it makes it handy because at least you guys can tell them that you used to be tech support too, Jen. Yeah, me too. I've got some great tech support stories. I know some funny stories about Fort Wayne too. You know, if you go to the historic fort, not only is it not the historic Fort Wayne, but it actually is in the same position as the wrong fort, which was an old French fort, which I think might have been called La Salle. But yeah, fairly big city. That's Sweetwater Sound is right outside of Fort Wayne, in between Fort Wayne and Columbia City. But yeah, one of our biggest cities, I think, goes Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, and then South Bend, and I think, which is really funny because if you go to South Bend looks like much more of a large city than Fort Wayne, even though Fort Wayne technically has a bigger population. I don't know why I know all these weird Indiana facts, but, well, I guess it comes with living around here, but, okay, so you live actually, Aaron, you probably live closer where Adam's family is from, which is North Judson, which is a really small town, but it's somewhere around the Rochester area, I think. Awesome, Agnes. Glad you found it. Yeah, phone died. We had to switch over to the professional broadcasting software, but yet the crappy web camera. I almost thought I had figured out how to do the Canon, but unfortunately, the way my Wi-Fi is set up, I can't do it. If I can physically connect my computer to the router, which isn't that hard, but if I physically connect my computer to the router, then I can actually connect to my Canon over Wi-Fi. Apparently, that's the rumor. I don't know if it's completely true. I've been trying to go through it and look, but I don't know. I prefer not to film on GoPros just because of the how wide angle they are. It kind of distorts the image, and a lot of people really hate GoPros and will complain about it. But I used to film with my GoPro primarily for 539 Productions back in the day when I first started doing that channel, and a lot of people didn't like it, and I do use it every once in a while. A lot of my vlogs contain GoPro footage. Anytime you see the footage from the outside of my car, it's from the GoPro. But I don't usually talk into the GoPro anymore. I don't use audio from the GoPro. I just use it for interesting B-roll shots, like I said, like doing the time lapses from the outside of the car. But I use a Canon G7X normally, which is a really nice high range point and shoot, sort of like one level below a DSLR. But I'll probably switch over to a DSLR permanently for the 539 Productions channel here pretty soon, and then use the G7X just for the 539, or for my story, I mean. The G7X, you can get a Mark 1 for a pretty good price right now. I think I gave about $700 for it when I bought it. But now the Mark 2s are out, so you could probably get a decently priced Mark 1. I don't know what the Mark 1s are selling for right now, but amazing cameras. They're about as close as you can get to DSL quality without actually using a DSLR. In fact, they're probably a little bit better than some low-end DSLRs. Oh, that's hard to say. Oh, which DSLR will I get? I'm not really sure. Anything with a full-size sensor. I used to have a I've had a couple different DSLRs back in the day that had what is it? I can't remember what the size of the sensor was, but I would go with there's mid-range DSLRs, and then there's like professional DSLRs, and I'll definitely do a full-size sensor DSLR. So I don't even know what the Canons are up to now on the model numbers, so I'd have to really look, but I'd probably use what the D40. Yeah, I remember the D40s. I can't remember. I was looking at the one that Peter McKinnon uses on YouTube. It's sort of like my old DSLR, but with the battery pack and battery grip added in by default. So I wouldn't have to purchase an additional battery grip to put 2 batteries in there instead of the single battery, which pretty much allows you to to film a lot longer. I've got a lot of DSLR lenses already, but yeah, I have one of the really nice 50 millimeter. The 50 millimeter 1.8 is one of the best deals and most quality that you can get. Any of the L lenses are really nice, but yeah, I would be very picky on my lenses. But yeah, I've been doing DSLRs for long enough that I know which lenses that'll get you the quality you're looking for. But you have to make sure it's a good video quality lens too. So no, I'm missing a lot of chat. I'm seeing. Hold on. Show them my leg. No, that's not actually. I'm wearing ripped jeans. These are jeans. It's not just my leg. I'm not wearing shorts, but yeah, they're a lot heavier of a camera, but it's worth it for the quality. With low light, it really just depends on the lens you get. A lot of the L lenses will get you really good low light, but it just, it just depends on what lens you're using and the aperture value that it's capable of. Like the 50 millimeter 1.8 is really great in low light because it has a really low aperture, which means it can open itself wider, and therefore it can get extra light. So yeah, if that's what you really want to look at, is the size of your glass, and then like the aperture value. So if you can get anything around the I'd say anything 2 and below, 1.6, 1.8, and 2.0 is probably, really good. That's the 1.8 is what I used to use for rock photography, which is epically hard to achieve because it's mostly low light, unless you're, taking photos while the bright lights are on temporarily, or the strobes are on. But yeah, look for your aperture values. The newer DSLRs will do video, yeah. The older ones will not. Yeah, some of the Rebels will do it. The Rebels are a great entry-level DSLR. The only problem I have with the Rebel series is that they only, well, at least in the past, they've only taken one battery, and you have to get an additional battery grip to add an additional battery to it. But it's worth the extra cost, because it almost, even though you're adding only one extra battery, it's like it almost triples your battery life. But I'll show you real quick. I'll grab it. So this is an old XTI I have, and the camera actually ends here, and then this is the battery grip. When you open the battery grip, you actually can put 2 batteries in instead of just the one, and so it means that you can have a lot of additional battery power, and that really makes a huge difference. But I've probably taken 100,000 images on this camera, so it's all but dead. But this is the one I took all my rock and roll photography on. I wish I could find some of I know I have my photography on backup somewhere, but I don't think any of my rock photography is on. It might be on the radio station's website somewhere, but I'm just gonna search for it. Am I on? I'm only unfortunately finding other people with my name and then random pictures of corn. I searched for corn. Let's see if any of my... Oh, I don't even know what would be online. I'm not even gonna look. There's no way any of this stuff's online anymore. But I'll... only your entry level. A lot of your D series Canons will come automatically that way, but they're very expensive. But see, the thing about this is that the sensor is not a full-size sensor, which is traditionally like a 35 millimeter sensor, and so it can cause some issues. It's sort of like a 50 millimeter lens will actually appear like a 70 millimeter lens. It'll appear slightly like a telephoto, just because the lens is projecting the whole image, but since the sensor is smaller, it's only picking up part of the image, and so it appears like it's zoomed. But some of them may. It just depends on the model you get. Wait, shouldn't that mean that you get paid, though? Isn't that a royalties? Or do you mean for photographing an artist? I mean, technically, all my work's under copyright, so I mean, I can photograph anybody. But I mean, theoretically, since each artist owns their own image, they could technically remove it. But I've never had any problems. Actually, everybody loves me. Actually, I just found out today that the Backstreet Boys follow me too. Apparently, they somehow found out who I was, and I don't know why, but I just looked at that. It suggested that I follow the Backstreet Boys on Twitter, and I was like, I wonder why that is. And then when I went to their site, it said that they followed me. But I've never once met the Backstreet Boys, so I don't know why. It might have just been because my account was linked to every other music group that I'm going to take this again. But it might have been because I've photographed so many other bands. But I mean, for the life of me, I don't know who I photographed that knew me, that knew the Backstreet Boys, and why they followed me. Maybe it was just random. I don't really know. But I think Hinder knows who I am, and well, lots of bands know who I am, but I don't know. I was really confused by the connection to the Backstreet Boys. Surgery tomorrow. Well, best of luck. Hopefully everything goes really well. And have a speedy recovery. Yeah, well, definitely I'll keep you in our thoughts. Hi there, welcome to the live stream. Glad you were able to join us. It's getting a little late, but I got a little bit of time here, and I really don't have to be up incredibly early, although I do want to get some travel in tomorrow. So I'm not going to be up incredibly late, and we're not going to do another 7 a.m. morning. But we'll be up for a little bit. But yeah, definitely tomorrow. Check back in, let us know how everything went. We'd love to know that it went great, and of course, give all your best to your husband from me and everybody else here. I'm sure. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're right there with you. I showed a Backstreet Boy poster in one of my Explorers. Which one? You know something I don't even know. I talk about the Backstreet Boys a lot, oddly, just because I know a decent amount about their history, but I've never met a Backstreet Boy. I'm trying to think if I met anybody that maybe dated them or something. Because I mean, I've met plenty of female rock stars, and I guess I could have met a few male rock stars. I know a few of I think at least one of the Backstreet Boys is gay, so maybe dated a male rock star. I don't even know. I mean, I meet everybody, but none of them. I've never met any pop stars, I don't think. Man, I'm trying to think who I would have met. Because they followed me first. I don't even know. It's like they found me and followed me on Twitter. So I don't even know. Do you know what Explorer was? Oh, in an old house. Okay, sorry, I missed that part. Okay, so in one of my old abandoned houses, there was a Backstreet Boys poster. Huh. Interesting. Well, thank you for letting me know. I did not even know that. Did I? See, that's the thing. I wonder if I even mentioned it in the Explorer. If I would have saw it, I know I would have said something about it. But yeah, they randomly followed me on Twitter. Like I said, I think it's because I have a lot of rock bands that are following me, and I think it might have been one of their social media managers that just saw that I was a rock photographer and followed me for whatever reason. I don't know if it was actually one of the Backstreet Boys that hit follow, because I don't know that, like I said, I don't think I've ever met them or anybody associated with them, but I've met so many rock stars and so many celebrities that somebody might have been associated with them. So I really don't know. But yeah, I just found that today. Or not today, a couple days ago, actually. It suggested that I follow them, and I sort of jokingly said, well, yeah, only if they follow me first. And I looked at their profile, and it said that they were following me, so I immediately followed them back because I figured that would be the most respectful thing to do. They're a amazingly large, successful pop act, and I would be, I think, stupid not to follow them back at this point. But yeah, I don't know how they figured out who I was, though. But like I said, it could have just been something that happened through the grapevine, or something that, like I said, it might have just been suggested to them or their social media manager. Like I said, I really doubt that they personally manage their own social media accounts, not how large they are now. But yeah, I don't know. That was kind of weird, though, and kind of interesting. But I mean, I know that I have, shoot, I don't even know anymore. I have so many rock bands following me on Twitter that, I mean, anybody that I've photographed. So I mean, it could have been any one of them. Yeah, on YouTube in particular, you can do covers of anything, but you can't monetize any covers. That's how they get around. At Agora, like, what Agora? The art gallery? I was actually represented by them for a while. Yeah, I know there's a lot of cover bands in this area. I actually photographed one of the biggest Pink Floyd cover bands, known as Pink Droid. So I don't know how many places. Well, I guess I did that at a church, though, so maybe I've never seen them perform at a bar, so I don't really know in terms of if they had any issues. All I need to do is join a boy band now. Okay, the music club. Okay, there's also an Agora art gallery in New York City that I worked with for a short period of time. I think I'm losing something. Oh, well, thank you, guys. Thank you, tomorrow. But, excuse me. Yeah, that's unfortunate, because covers are one of those things that I think is a tribute to the band, and not only does it do no harm to the band itself, I think it helps bands. Like, what makes you think of Pink Floyd songs more than if you're at someplace and a Pink Floyd cover band comes on. I mean, I just, that irritates me. I think that's when law starts to negatively interfere with people's lives. Cover bands have been a tradition in the rock world. I mean, it's a labor of love in my opinion. I mean, I understand why YouTube won't allow like me to like monetize somebody else's song, but to say that I can't walk into a bar and play a cover of my favorite song is, to me, a step too far. But yeah, Pink Floyd's a good one. I won't mention my experience with the cover bands. I didn't have the best of experiences with them, but the actual Pink Floyd, though, I love. But, which is weird because I think they're one of the most covered bands in history. So, if they started really cracking down on covers, they're gonna really destroy a lot of Pink Floyd cover bands, because that's like one of the most popular things. Thank you, Nikki. Yeah, that was a fun one. I really enjoyed doing the Abandoned Mansion. Oh yeah, big Beatles fan. Love the Beatles. Would love to do some Beatles work and some covers and some of their own private singles as well. Yeah, I've always wanted to do a cover of Imagine. Even though it's probably one of the most covered songs in history, but I mean, I still love it, so I'd probably do that. I don't know what I would do it on. Alright, I'm gonna turn my phone on tentatively. I'm not gonna stream from it, but hopefully it doesn't like start streaming automatically from my phone. But yeah, that's definitely one of the ones I want to do. I think that wouldn't be too bad of one. Am I just not charging? Maybe I'm not charging. It says 20% now, though. No, I think a lot of the old stuff is really neat. I love some of the newer bands that do the older style, which is why I love a lot of the Green Day side projects. Like, was it the Foxborough Hot Tubs is basically an older style, but it's not covers, but the style is very 60s rock. Oh yeah, George Harrison. Oh, I thought you meant for a moment the Wheels on the Bus. I was trying to figure out how that fit into rock and roll history. Deftones is another interesting one. I remember listening to their album White Pony back in high school. I haven't heard a lot of Deftones since then. Him, like the band, like His Infernal Majesty. I haven't heard a lot of them, but a little bit. If that's what you're talking about, are we talking about Billy Joe? Like Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day? Actually, if you've ever watched, what is it, American Dad, they do a funny one where they're doing all royalty-free songs, and I think they did a heavy metal version of Wheels on the Bus. That I'm sure that's probably searchable on YouTube, but it's really funny. Yeah, it can be tough to keep all their names straight. I've always been bad at remembering everybody's name. Yeah. What I really like is actually I've been hearing a lot of great um, pop covers done by um, rock and punk bands. I was always a big fan of Linkin Park. It was very sad that we lost Chester here recently. But I mean, quite an amazing band. I hope they continue to make music in some way, whether it's changing their name and working under a different name or whatever they have to do. But yeah, the loss of Chester was a great, tragedy in the rock world and in the music world in general. I mean, it's always so sad when stuff like that happens. Yeah, he unfortunately committed suicide, I believe, earlier this year. Or maybe it was last year. I can't remember exactly when it was, but yeah, it was a very tragic thing. He was also suffering from the recent death of, I believe, another rock star. I can't remember who it was, but it was one of the reasons that he ended up doing what he did, and he was suffering from depression. So yeah, that was unfortunate, and yeah, and it's a rough world, just in general. Like I've talked about in other live streams before. Touring takes a special person, especially touring for long periods of time, and as much as bands like that did, and it can take everything out of you, and then when you're on top of that dealing with other types of mental illness, and then on top of that, him dealing with the loss of some of his friends, I think it just pushed him over the top to the point where he just couldn't handle it anymore, and and yeah, sad, but yeah, great band though, amazing music. I mean, they will always be legends, and again, I think the rest of them will go on to their own careers here, and hopefully continue to make music, and I hope that they continue to make music together, because I would hate to see that be the end of them. And I understand if they change their name, I personally probably would, just because I wouldn't want to go on one member less. But we'll see what happens. I don't know exactly what they're intending to do, but from the little that I've heard, I'm assuming that they're going to continue doing some sort of music together. Yeah, I was a big fan of No Doubt. Great band. Yeah, we'll see what happens in terms of No Doubt. I don't know if they're ever... I mean, Gwen Stefani pretty much does her own thing now. I don't know if they ever get back together. I thought they did a tour, though. About 5 or 6 years ago, I thought No Doubt actually did some sort of reunion tour. I'm almost positive. I thought I remembered somebody going to see them, and it was well after the Gwen Stefani split off. So they may still be... I don't think they ever technically... Did they break up? Or, yeah, it looks like they're still around. I don't know that they've made any CDs, but I don't think they're officially over. I think they're just sort of on a permanent hiatus. Let's see. We'll go to their website real quick. Yeah, that was a great band. Okay, yeah, they released, it's been years, but 2012 was their last release. I don't know if, I'm looking at the names of the song to see if maybe, if it was like a, no, it looks like it's original music, unless I'm just, I don't know. I'm not really good at anything but their singles. But yeah, I hope they continue to make music. Yeah, I mean, I think in a lot of ways, you know, rock stars, I mean, to become a rock star, you have to have, I mean, a lot of the best music comes from pain, you know, so, I mean, you know, that right there puts you in a place where you have to have some sort of bad experiences to really make, you know, some, I mean, obviously not everyone. A lot of people make happy music, but, you know, you know, a lot of it is sort of a story of their, you know, most painful experiences or breakups or anything, you know, death or whatever it may be. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of people can come at it from a damaged past, and yeah, I mean, there is that sort of stigma in pretty much, I think, all forms of music, you know, that a lot of artists are, you know, in some way have a troubled past. Moonshine, what about? Did I miss something? Oh, you hate drugs but moonshine, maybe? I don't know, I think moonshine might be a powerful drug. I wouldn't want to, that would be one I would not want to do on a regular basis. Anything that can light on fire, I don't think is too good for the inside of your body. So, I don't know. No, absolutely, yeah. I think a lot of musicians find that sort of healing through singing about their pain and struggles. So yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think music can come in all forms, and all of it in a way is good. You know, whether you're working through a problem by singing about it or writing about it, or whether you're just writing a happy song, you know, it helps us to think through things, no matter what it is. I probably could. I'm sure I have a few relatives that still have access to it. Yeah, especially if they're down in Kentucky. But I would issue a warning to anybody wanting to try it. It is not the same as going to a bar and getting a shot of something. Maybe if you've ever had Bacardi 151, man, that might be the closest thing, and even then, it's nothing in comparison. I know people that would regularly accept 151 shots who said absolutely not to anything moonshine. So it is a powerful, well, it's basically drinking jet fuel. So, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't recommend it, but if you really want to try it, almost 100%. Technically, 100% alcohol is solid. You can actually make solid actual, when I say jet fuel, I mean, like, literally it can be used as rocket fuel. You can actually cook alcohol down to a paste. But, yeah, it'd probably be, I don't know, I think the last time I saw it was from, like, I don't remember how it was related to them, but they had, like, 190 proof. And apparently we're able to get a hold of 210 proof, so I don't know how that translates into percentage, but very, very high. Yeah, as I always said, well, Tamara, if you go to certain areas in Kentucky, there still is prohibition, so you pretty much only can get moonshine. Like, where I was filming in Kentucky, a prohibition is still in place. It's illegal to buy and sell alcohol there. Yes, it can cause blindness. Actually, it can kill you if you don't do it right. That's the risk you take. There are certain chemicals that are created in the process of making moonshine that will kill you if you don't drain it off before you sell it. But, yeah, I can't imagine methanol would be a good thing to take in. But yeah, well, technically any form of alcohol can give you cirrhosis. But yeah, it'll give it to you a lot quicker the more powerful it is. And yeah, certain things can cause blindness. Yeah, anytime you're drinking illegal alcohol, there are a certain amount of risks that you take doing it. Oh yeah, I know a lot of people that want to try it. But I know a lot of people who try it, and that'll be the last time they do. I've personally given some to friends, and that was the last time they ever wanted to try it. Yeah, moonshine would definitely not be the place to start then tomorrow. Moonshine would be like, I don't even know the comparison. It's worth a try, I guess, yeah. I guess I would just trying to think of a description. Like I said last time, it's like if you ever want to know what your stomach feels like from the inside, once you take a sip of moonshine, you can pretty much feel your entire throat all the way down to your stomach, and then it will stay like that for a while. It is from someone who's had an interesting amount of x-rays and had to take radioactive medication in my life, it's very similar to taking radioactive medication. It warms your body. But yeah, which is weird. I know I didn't start that off with any context, but I don't remember what I was suffering from, but I had to have x-rays, and before the x-rays they give you these specific, I can't remember what it was I got, but I had to drink radioactive orange juice so that it lit up my insides for the x-ray, and that's about the closest thing I could compare moonshine to, was radioactive orange juice. The other ways might be more fun. Moonshine doesn't, but the radioactive orange juice makes everything warm. It makes your whole body feel like it's got a heater inside of it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it lights up your digestive tract. Yeah, and it's like drinking a space heater. But that's what I compare moonshine to, because it although it's not literally, the moonshine doesn't literally make you warmer, but it feels like it. The radioactive stuff actually gives off, radiation. So thankfully I drank mine. I did not get an enema. Yeah, probably a little bit rougher than moonshine. So I guess it was good training. My iPhone's not broadcasting, is it? Speaking of which, I need to text my friend back. My friend from California texted me while we were broadcasting, and since I was broadcasting, I didn't want to risk losing you guys by trying to text somebody back. But yeah, I mean, again, I can't recommend just because of YouTube's rules, but if you are ever in the Kentucky area in a place where it is dry, you may not find it hard to find a person who is friendly enough to introduce you to somebody who may know somebody that can get you a hold of some white lightning. But again, be very responsible. Remember that it is going to hit you all of a sudden. I've had more than one friend make that mistake, including some people from Kentucky who unfortunately, well, not like anything horrible happened, but they found out the hard way and passed out embarrassingly in front of their mom because they downed some apple pie moonshine way too quickly and did not know the strength of it. So I would recommend being incredibly careful and doing it in moderation. However, if you can find the right person and are so inclined, that would be up to you. Remember that if you pour moonshine into a car, the car will successfully run on moonshine because it is every bit as powerful as gasoline and maybe even more powerful. So keep that in mind. It can also be a fuel source for your vehicle. So that can tell you what it can also do to your body. But other than that, I suppose it's something that's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And Steven taking off. 6 a.m. alarm. All right. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, thanks for joining us, Steven. We'll catch you in the next one. Oh, I don't mind, Jen. You're all free to do what you like. It's cool. Try and quietly put this back in the mic stand so I can actually type here for a minute. Oh yes, tomorrow. Yeah, we don't mind if you gotta get off to bed. I completely understand. But yeah, yeah, definitely hit us up next live stream. Let us know how everything went. You definitely have a good night and get some rest. All right. Sorry, I had to finish that text to my friend in California. Trying to secure some plans here for the next few months. It's always nice to have a free place to stay for a while, and fortunately he'll host me as long as I need, and I'd always have a place to sleep, so it's nice to be able to go out there and not depend on hotel rooms, especially after driving all that time and spending all that money on gas. I'm not a fan of planes, and so I'm intending to, as I've said before, to drive out west and hook up with some people along the way, including one of my YouTube buddies in Nevada, and then head on over to the Bay Area of California and stay with him. So yeah, been talking with him here over the last few days. And yeah, so here in the next few months, you should, well, we'll say hopefully by the July time frame, I'm hoping to head out on my westward trip and hook up with him in the Bay Area and probably stay there for at least a week or so. And then, who knows? Actually, eventually I'll probably move that way. I would love to make it down to LA. I know I have some YouTube friends in California, but I don't know where they live. If they live in the LA area, I would love to. Sorry, I'm typing a book here. Yeah, that's my intention. At some point, yeah, I've always been more of a, um, I don't know how to put it. I love the Midwest, but I don't like I've said before, I like the idea of driving to winter. So, yeah, my eventual plan here over about the next year and a half is to be living uh, in the West permanently. Um, Maybe not either. The two options well, I have three options right now. It's either Colorado, Nevada, or California, and probably will end up being California. But my friend lives in the Bay Area. I'd probably like to live somewhere in between the Bay Area and LA, which I know is a big area. I know how large California is, but that is my eventual plan once everything works out, is to move out that way. But yeah, I've always been a fan of the West, and I kind of feel like it's the, in a weird way, sort of the original American dream, you know, the whole sea to shining sea, right? And the push westward. So I'd like to eventually get out of the Midwest and the unpredictable weather, and then have it as a place that I can visit always. But yeah, I love the snow, but I mean, with California, you can pretty much drive to the snow anytime you want. It's such a large state, and you know, I love to drive anyway, and you know, to have a permanent base where it's nice year round, I think is very important. And as I've spoken of before with YouTube, sorry, it's hard to find people around here to collaborate with, and quite simply, LA is probably the best place in America that you can find other YouTubers to collaborate with, even though it can be somewhat hard out there as well. But again, since I have friends that already live out in that area, and it's such a nice place, I would love to make it my home. Beach videos, yeah. There's even some great abandoned places right off the beach in California, including I think an abandoned military base. But yeah, I well, and my friend used to live here with me, and for years we've been talking about moving out to California together, and then he ended up getting an offer from Dell, a job offer in San Francisco, and so he ended up taking that offer while he was out on business there, because he had worked he had worked in IT support for one of the major airlines, and they had flown him out to that area to do some work at an airport there. And while he was there, he ended up getting an offer from Dell, and took that offer, and he's been living out in the Bay Area ever since. So the idea has always been to move back out and kind of reunite with him and Yeah. But it's always been, I don't know which base it is, to be honest. I've been recommended it by other people and YouTubers, so actually including Urban Ghost, Urban Exploration, they had mentioned something about it. I don't really know 100%. Yeah, Rodeo would be a interesting one. I mean, shoot, Adam the Woo ended up moving to Hollywood. So you never know. But yeah, the SoCal lifestyle just sort of speaks to me. I've always been one. Somewhere, like I said, I don't have any place in particular, but somewhere in between the Bay Area and LA. I don't know exactly where, but really the most important part to me is to make it to Cali. And I've always been attracted to the ocean in general, and to that sort of permanent summer lifestyle, and good weather. And I don't like how quickly the seasons make time feel. I would rather live in a place where it's one season all the time, trying to slow things down as much as possible and enjoy my life. And I don't really care for the Midwestern seasons and unpredictable weather. And that's something that really appeals to me, is that area. So yeah, eventually here, within the next about year and a half, I'm sure I'll be down there permanently. What else? That'd be a long list, long list. But yeah, I think it sounds like the place for me. Maybe eventually retiring in Hawaii. But I've always had a idea of moving to Cali, at least for the last about 10 years. And my friend's been living out there about 6 or 7 years now in the Bay Area, so he has real good roots out there, and obviously is someone that's willing to help me get out there and help me, giving me a jump start. So if I were to ever need a temporary place to go to sort of jumpstart Cali. Yeah, it does present its own challenges in terms of, natural disasters and earthquakes and all that, but at this point, having lived with the snow and the nasty weather for as long as I have, I welcome the challenge. Not too far from moonshine. I'm not that interested in moonshine to care. Moonshine is a great experience once. And again, I would say to those who have not tried it, you'll probably try it once and be happy that you can tell everybody that you had the experience, but will never want to try it again. I would imagine it like somebody delivered you a shot of gasoline and said, "Hey, do you want to try this out once?" With maybe less stigma. But yeah. Again, I'd say moonshine is much more close to fuel than it is a actual drink, which I think moonshiners would tell you too. In fact, if I remember correctly, I believe one of my family members actually has driven his car on moonshine before because they ran out of gas. So they poured moonshine in the tank and it worked. So when you see that happen in movies, that is absolutely 100% accurate, although it can destroy your car. it is actually a little bit more powerful. But I mean, if you ever go to like a tractor pull, you'll see like tractors run on alcohol, and if you ever go to any like NHRA drag racing events, you'll see some of the vehicles there run on alcohol, and that's not very far away from what moonshine is. So yeah, you can technically make, yeah, grain alcohol essentially. So I mean, you can make it out of most a lot of things. Sunscreen? I've never heard that one. My dad had to use it as mouthwash when he was a child. And they also used it to start their wood-burning furnace. So, fire starter, mouthwash, alcohol, and it's pretty much a universal tool, sort of like duct tape in the South. But sunscreen, I've never heard of. Or are we talking about drinking sunscreen? Is that a It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia reference? Because I do remember the Jersey Shore episode where they snuck alcohol in sunscreen containers, but Charlie just drank the actual sunscreen. If not, that's a incredibly coincidental message. Sorry, I'm like scraping the inside of this out. But anyway, yeah. Oddly, though, I think anybody in the South would agree with me. Well, anyway, anybody from Appalachia. Yeah, rum ham. Yeah. I love Danny DeVito. Actually, there's a YouTube video, I think, of, was it Binging with Babish, if you're ever into the food channels. That's a great channel. I think he made rum ham. I'm sure it tasted just hideous. I can't imagine that. To me, that sounds terrible. But now I remember people telling me back in the day making beer chicken, but not like as a recipe, like mixing already cooked chicken with just like a can of beer. I don't understand. To me, that also sounds incredibly nasty, but I do remember one of my friends talking about doing that at a party once. I, for the life of me, could not figure that out. Again, I'm not like completely anti-alcohol or anything, but like the idea of mixing booze into your already cooked food to be alcoholic seems, especially with chicken. Now, like recipes calling for it, I understand completely. That he mixed, not to cook it. He said he cooked chicken and then poured beer into a bowl and then stirred it up essentially, and then everybody ate the chicken and got drunk, I guess, which I thought sounded nasty. But I mean, cooking with different alcohols, I think, is amazing. I mean, you can make amazing beer recipes, and wines can make incredible sauces and all that. But mixing the raw product into your already cooked recipe is what gets me. But yeah, I think there's a lot of great recipes with beer, though, you know, including like even my parents have made like what is it, well, you can make sauerkraut with beer. Well, not those certain recipes with it, not the actual sauerkraut, but no, I'm talking about cooking your food separately and just mixing it. But yeah. I've never heard of beer chili of any sort. That's interesting. I think I've had deer chili, though. Yeah, I've had some strange friends. Now, I've heard people do it, like, with dessert items. You know, I've heard of people pouring, like, alcohol into, like, watermelons and things like that. But I think that sounds a little bit more palatable than a savory item. So, yeah. Well, and see, like, things like with, like, rum cake, I'm assuming that all the alcohol is cooked off. Yeah, I've heard of people, yeah, exactly, spiking melons. But, like, in terms of, like, your main courses, I would assume that most of the time when people are cooking with alcohol, they're cooking the alcohol off and using the flavor of the alcohol as an addition to the flavor of the rest of the recipe. I've never heard of kangaroo snags. You can buy kangaroo meat in America. I don't know if that's even close to what that means, but just a side note. Smart. Okay. Bourbon balls. I've never heard of that either. I have heard of rum cake. I think I've had rum cake. A fifth of tequila into a milk. I guess that's not as bad as it sounds. But, it's been a very, 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 very long time since I've had tequila. To be honest, when I hear bourbon balls, I think of something, like, really gross from, like, Mardi Gras. Like, it sounds like something you don't want to see in the streets of Mardi Gras. And there's something about straws and liquor, and it's supposed to make it mess you up quicker or something. I've heard people say that before. So it's actually alcoholic after you get done cooking it? Bourbon malls, it makes me think of mountain oysters. I've never actually heard of that. Aaron, do you know what that means? My grandma used to like, my grandma from the South used to like mountain oysters. Never tried it. What? 30 other people have said this thing, and it tries to review Jen's message. There you go. Everybody said bourbon balls, and then you said it, and it flagged it. I don't know why that was. Yeah, never had the chance. Although I've heard on the farms, actually I've seen, if you ever watch, it must have just been too many ball references in one sentence. Because if somebody said bourbon balls, it was fine. But as soon as you added melons in there, it apparently thought you were talking amazingly dirty. But anyway, yeah, I've heard on... Well, actually, I saw on, what was it, was it Andrew Zimmern's show. Uh, they would cook and eat them immediately after taking them off. Which I don't know if that's your experience. Yeah. Yeah, I guess not. Whoa. What? Sorry, my friend is getting back with me here. I'm assuming, well, not assuming, I know it's a little bit earlier in Cali, so he's still up and around, even though he has to work tomorrow. I also surprised him a bit. He was not aware of the fact that I was planning to be out there so soon. Oh, no, you're fine as long as I'm able to, oh, I thought I turned my microphone off for a minute. As long as I'm able to, sorry, reading the chat, live streaming, and talk to my California friend about my plans. He's very excited, too. Sorry, I'm like flicking it all off by typing with my middle finger. Anyway, sorry. All right. Sorry, I'm missing questions. I'll go back and look here. All right. I would assume that drinking water wouldn't make it worse. I don't I don't know the science behind that. Um, I mean, obviously the determining factor I would assume is blood alcohol content, right? So I would think that drinking water would dilute alcohol. So I really don't know. I'm not an expert when it comes to anything like that. Um, so yeah, I'm not sure. And I'm not that big of a drinker, to be honest with you. I mean, so I don't really know. If you're asking me, maybe you guys are talking to each other in chat, so hopefully. Well, yeah, I would assume, I would think that water would dilute anything in your body technically, but I mean, I don't know in terms of how your body filters things out, how that would work. I would have to ask a more scientific or medical related person. But yeah, it can be a bad substance if you don't do it responsibly. It is definitely a carcinogenic compound. I mean, anything that can be made into a fuel source is not going to be good for your body. You know what I mean? And I know, your liver and kidneys probably don't like it, So, yeah. I mean, I would definitely recommend yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people get enjoyment out of it, and I think done in moderation, anything, not anything, obviously, but I mean, it can be okay, especially for those people who would rather do the lighter forms of it, but yeah, I mean, I think in any amounts it can be kind of bad on your internals, and especially when it comes to liver and kidneys. But I mean, I'm no expert, but yeah, I think it's a lot more fun too when you don't do it as much. You know what I mean? Just I mean, if you're out having fun with your friends, and not to judge anybody either, I just saying in terms of safety wise for your body or whatnot. But I think anytime that you get into the realm of like alcoholism, it can be incredibly dangerous. I know my family's had a history in alcoholism. My grandfather was an alcoholic and quit for many years, and still had effects. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think everybody's different. I mean, I've seen people get happy. I've seen people get violent. I've seen people get all kinds of crazy, scary things, and yeah. And 420ing. Yeah, I have heard some of that too, that it's supposedly safer for you. I mean, anything, I guess, that wouldn't affect your liver and kidneys and bloodstream and brain, I guess, would be technically safer. Again, I'll leave that up to the doctors and whatnot for that confirmation, but I mean, I do see a lot of states now that seem to agree with that and are changing laws, so maybe that is the case, and if that's the case, then more power to those people for sure. But I guess at the end of the day, you just gotta make sure that what you're doing isn't changing you as a person, and it's something that's benefiting you and not harming you, and yeah. I've never seen that little rock emoji. That's kind of cool. Funny part is, okay, if you go to, and I don't know why that, well, I do know why that made me think that, but if you go to a lot of rock shows, you'll see a lot of people doing this, which is the if anybody knows, sign language means I love you. But a lot of people don't realize that you're supposed to do this. That means rock on. And this means I love you in sign language. So if you ever see someone like doing this at a rock show, just tell them you love them too. Are cemeteries my favorite? No, I don't know that I necessarily have a favorite. I like the cemeteries because of the history involved, and recently it's been a lot easier in the area that I've been exploring in to do some of those locations, as well as there's just been a lot of interesting ones pop up on the radar for me, so it's just sort of a streak right now, but I will eventually get back to a more normal balance of things, but it's not something I ever intend to stop doing. I always have found them very interesting, especially finding like old historical graves, such as, like I said, the veterans and things like that. And then I also obviously like to, even though it can be sad, it's interesting to see how they change over the years. As I've shown in a lot of the recent ones, where for whatever reason the borders change, and you'll see a lot of graves and grave markers that are now outside of the fences or have suffered from erosion damage or things like that. So I wouldn't necessarily call it my favorite, but I don't know that I really have a favorite in terms of types of locations. I just guess that I like a wide variety of things. I don't like to do anything too much. I like change, and I love variety. So it's one of those things. Are you taking off, Ian? Have a good night, man. Thanks for joining us. Hope we'll see you here in the next one, or in the next 3, depending on how the days end up going with my phone. But yeah, I appreciate you stopping by. Is Star taking off too? Hopefully you have a good night. Thanks for joining us too. Been great hanging out. Time is it? It's almost 2 a.m. here. I don't know about all you guys, depending on what area of the world that you're all in. Shoot, here in a little bit we could be picking up some early morning people in the UK. I don't know if we still have any UK viewers with us right now. It would be, what, about 6 in the morning in the UK right now? 5 in the morning, something like that. I can't ever keep track of my international times, or Greenwich Mean Time, whatever they're running on, I think. That is weird to think of, that, at least for me, being so far north of Texas, that technically, since the time zones work the way they do, you're only that far behind me. And it just feels weird being so far south of me. Oh wow, you're at 4:10. Yeah. I can see why you need some sleep. I might need some sleep here soon too. Although recently I've been staying up late. So yeah, I've always been a late night person. I think that's what it sort of like got ingrained in my soul when I was in my car club. I mean, right about now we'd be heading to IHOP to spend the next 3 hours until the sun came. Well, I guess not until the sun came up. That would be at only 5 in the morning, but I mean, that was pretty much our night. We'd go out and drive around and park somewhere for a few hours, and then head from there to the local IHOP or local Denny's and get something to eat, and then pass out about 6 or 7 in the morning and start it all over again. It's a fun lifestyle if you can steer clear of the violence and nonsense. But I don't know if I'm going to pull an all-nighter tonight. I do want to make sure that I got to get a lot done this week. I am trying to get ahead enough in 539 Productions so that when I start taking the larger trips here, we don't fall behind. I don't want to miss any weekends, and I want it to be really steady from here on out. So I want to make sure that over this week that I can get probably 2 to 3 weeks ahead. And so I definitely want to get enough sleep that I can get up early enough and get out there on the road to get at least a couple locations in every single day. But I mean, I can usually still stay up pretty late and then get a decent amount done. So yeah, right, the night owl sessions, that'd be a pretty good sorry, I lost track of my thought there for a second. I had to check my phone, but yeah, we'll be up for a little bit here, but I'm assuming that we'll eventually do some more all-nighters, or, you know, all-night. Being redundant, but yeah, we'll do some all-nighters again. But yeah, it can take a toll though. And then you know, if I crash at 6 in the morning and don't wake up until, you know, 2 or 3 in the afternoon, it can be a issue for getting out there. But I mean, then again, you know, as summer comes here and it starts getting, you know, darker later and later, you know, I guess it's always a possibility. But as we get on the road and start traveling here and start doing some overnighters, we'll see. You know, I'd like I said, you know, if I start doing some of these camping trips here over the next few weeks, to do some late night stuff out and about, and do some nighttime episodes and nighttime filming too, even for 539, especially in this one coming up here. Like I said, the area where I'm staying in is a gigantic park, and it has abandoned stuff in it, and has supposedly haunted graveyards and stuff inside of it. And it's not a traditional park in the sense that it closes at night, so I'll be sleeping there, camping there, obviously, and hopefully doing some nighttime streams in the middle of the woods. Maybe do some hiking at night. I've done a lot of night hikes and stuff in my life, and I've always found it to be a lot of fun. And so I would love to do a few streams from some trails during the night. So I'm sure that we'll get to that point. Oh yeah, absolutely. When we do the camping, I'll be doing some streams from either the campsite or from different trails or whatnot. And then if I stay in hotels and when I get out to Cali, I'm sure I'll talk my friend Ryan into doing some streaming. I'm trying to talk him into and into eventually quitting his job and becoming a gamer streamer, because he's so good at gaming and has such a great personality. I know that he could kill things on Twitch, so I'm trying to get him into being a Twitch streamer. So once that happens, I'll let you know his information, and I hope that you guys will help me support him too, and because we've always been wanting to go into business together and help each other out and do things like that, and we've started businesses on our own and stuff before, even well before he moved out to California, and we work so well together that it's really been a dream of mine that once I get out to Cali to start doing stuff with him and to bring him into this world here, and is Adam gone for good? Well, I mean, Adam is doing his own marketing career right now, so he's just very busy with that, and he's going to be getting married next month. I believe in Florida, and he's just concentrating on that side of things right now. So I don't know. It depends. Adam's talked about maybe possibly doing streaming, and good to see you back. He does games too, and always has been a really hardcore gamer. He's always been into the Final Fantasy stuff, and so if he does stuff here in the future, it might be Twitch related and streaming related. But with Adam, he always, he's a very committed person when it comes to his relationship, and being on the road for very long periods of time was not something that was never very appealing to him. So, and I understand that, and that's not a problem. But there might be times in the future where we still work together. But at this point, he's just concentrating on his thing. But he still talks to me. As you saw earlier on, he popped into the live stream just to say hi, and so it's not like we fell apart or anything like that. Adam just was helping me get my projects started, and was working on his own projects at the same time. I did like having multiple people filming, but there's gonna be opportunities in the future for doing stuff like that, and I've always got ideas under my belt and kind of in the works. So, but yeah. Adam went to college for marketing, and graduated with I believe a bachelor's in marketing, and so he was really kind of itching to use that degree, and 539 is just not to the point where I can hire a full-time marketing person yet. So maybe in the future when 539 Productions can afford Adam, maybe we'll bring him on. But oh, when I cut out, yeah, my phone just died, and it didn't even tell me. It just literally, my screen turned black. I didn't even know what was happening. But yeah, Adam's doing real well. He's got, his fiance, and he just bought a little place over in Ohio, and got a really nice place over there set up, and they're getting ready for this whole wedding, and yeah, they're doing well, and they're doing what they want to do. So, and I think that's important. And there was no way I was gonna drag him along with me when his desire was to be in a little bit more of a permanent location, and my desire was always to be on the road permanently, and so it just wasn't one of those things where he was going to continue, at least with this side of the things. Like I said, maybe in the future when the channel can afford to maybe employ a full-time marketing person, that might be completely different. Maybe he'll be back on board, but it just, he needed to concentrate on his relationship and marriage, and I give him a lot of props for making that decision. So but who knows what the future will bring. Obviously he'll probably have to decide to move out to California or market from Ohio, but that's something that'll be up to the future. Yeah, Adam is very happy, and he found someone that he truly loves and is committed to that, and that's good. I think each person has to find out what's truly important to them, and I've always been someone who operates more alone, not necessarily I wouldn't call myself a loner, but I love being on the road, and I love traveling, and Adam loved the road trips, but the idea of taking 2 or 3 month trips or week-long trips, to different places and not knowing necessarily when you're going to get back is just something that him and his fiance were not interested in for very obvious and absolutely okay reasons. It's just, especially, she has her own job, so she doesn't, want to be stuck in Ohio while Adam's touring the country, saying what a great time he's having from the road, so, he needed something where he was going to be, in a more permanent location. And then plus, like I said, he didn't want to, leave her for all those. I think it'd be even more rough to be recently married and then say, all right, well, I gotta go, and he was not looking forward to that aspect of things, so but no, I completely understand why he chose that, and I absolutely think he should have chosen her over me, and and again, it wasn't really a matter of choosing her over me. It was just a different career path, and again, 539 Productions is a channel that I created in 2015, and then in the early 2016, Adam and James, who were two good friends of mine, decided to come on board and join me on a lot of my journeys and help me find places and help me drive to places. And it was a lot of fun and great times while it lasted. And we've all moved on to equally successful opportunities, or what hopefully will become successful opportunities. And, like I said, Adam is in marketing. I'm doing the whole YouTube and streaming stuff. And my friend James is now doing actual movies and doing sort of the really cool B movie or B horror movie scene that we have around here. And oh, I thought you said that Jen was taking off. I was like, I didn't see anybody say they were leaving. And speaking of that, I would love to do some stuff with all of you. It's definitely my goal to hook up with a lot of different viewers on the channel, and that sounds so bad. You know what I mean, though. But a lot of people out there have access to locations that I may not be able to get to or may not know about. And as you all know, I love doing the unique locations as opposed to the famous locations. So if any of you guys know locations that no one else knows about, or you have stuff on your own property that no one knows about, and you want to a chance to work with the 539 Productions channel or the My Story channel, no, I just missed some chat again. I never am trying to ignore any of you guys, but I would love to come out to your individual locations and work with some of you guys. I think that would be a lot of fun. Welcome, Stacy. Yeah, Texas would be a lot of fun. Yeah. Sorry if I'm getting less talkative. I'm starting to wear on me a little bit, the late night. I would love to visit Maui sometime. Now I'm sure you have a lot more connection to that area than what I do. But yeah, it's one of the unfortunate parts of like Hawaii is you have so many like like European and non-native tourist come over there and sort of almost make a mockery of a lot of things. It's almost like I would love to go with a actual person that has a connection to the history and not just be one of those people watching the hula dances at a beach resort. Like, I respect that a lot, I think a lot of times tourists can be, in a lot of ways it's really good, but in some ways it can be a little bit disrespectful, you know what I mean? Like, one more white guy watching a hula dance somewhere. But yeah, definitely, if any of you in your individual locations, I would love to have a private guide to the behind the scenes of, your history and your culture. Whoa. Sorry, I'm like resizing things on my screen right now. I think it'd be neat to see. I would definitely love to see it if I was someone that was welcome there, but I think it'd be a lot easier with someone like you there. I think it's like going anywhere with different culture, just walking into a random place can be a little bit of a, I don't even know what you call it, but like I said, I never would want to disrespect anybody's culture, but I definitely would love to learn. Oh, for sure. A moonshiner, yeah. Well, maybe if it's a relative. Trying to find a moonshiner in Kentucky could also get you shot. There's some places that you just don't even drive. There are roads cops don't go down in Kentucky. And that's not a exaggeration. I've had my fair share of warnings of where not to go. And my family's had their fair share of shotguns pointed at them for going to the places where they even were allowed to go. So it can be a little sketchy, especially when you're working in gray areas of the law. Oh yeah. I remember visiting my friends that lived up on the mountain, and there were roads on the mountain that they wouldn't take me because it was assumed that things would get violent if we went there. Or even if they went there. How long have we been doing this one? Whew. So we've been streaming since about... When did we first start the... It's about 8 or 9 o'clock. About 8 something, I would imagine, since it was almost... Or the sun was setting at the time. Yeah, that's where my family all lives. Pretty much at the eastern edge of Kentucky. So, the wildest part you can get, pretty much. Right in the middle of all the rough terrain. I mean, if you've seen any of the Kentucky series that I did, where I've shown some of the news articles from like the Hatfields and whatnot, like, yeah, it gets real rough real quick. Thunder Road, that makes me think of Dollywood. Good night, Annette. Thank you for taking the time to come hang out with us. I appreciate that. I appreciate both of you coming and watching. Oh yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of great Hatfields. Even the ones that my family knew weren't necessarily bad people. They just got caught up in violent situations. In fact, in the situation, a lot of times they were victims, you know. I think that goes even way back when, you know, the Hatfields and McCoys were feuding, you know. It doesn't mean that one side or the other was right or wrong, or, you know, once stuff like that gets going, I think everybody has guilt on both sides, and there's good people on both sides that get caught up in bad situations, and then people just end up dying. And it's unfortunate. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. It's always been a rough area of the country for everybody, you know. That was just one of the most famous families, and the McCoys would be the other really, famous family. But, you know, the Hatfields had feuds with other people, and I'm sure the McCoys had feuds with other people, and they just happened to be the ones that made it into the history book. But if you go down there and you know the people, you know that's, you know, just one of many. You know, they just happen to be the most famous one. They're not by far the most guilty. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people down there that have had in a lot of places, but, you know, it's obviously a little bit more rough of an area, just like some places are. But you know, a lot of it's terrain. You know, when it's harder to travel to new places and harder to travel places and get jobs and money, it can cause people to be violent and desperate, and situations occur. And a lot of times it is directly as a result of the, like I said, the terrain and how hard it is to get from one place to another, because getting to another place can a lot of times solve a lot of problems. I actually have read, I used to be so interested in Hawaii and eventually wanting to move there. I did a lot of research into Hawaii, and I have heard a lot of things, especially about the big island of Hawaii, that it's a very risky place in a lot of areas. Why is that? Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I've been to Dollywood a lot. I love Dollywood. I can't remember who I saw sing there. It wasn't Dolly Parton. I think it was Patsy Cline, maybe? Maybe. I don't know. But she, whoever it was singing at the, there's a little place in there right in front of where the train station is, and it has a stage, and a lot of famous country stars come there and sing. And I know even like Miley Cyrus came there not too long ago and sang. But yeah, amazing place. I love Dollywood. I love the whole area down there is just amazing. Well, this would have been many, many years ago. I don't know the last time I been to Dollywood. That's been since I was a kid. But again, I'm not really sure who I saw in concert there. It was a famous country star, a famous female country singer, but I can't remember who it was. It was random to begin with. Okay, yeah, definitely not Klein, unless it was like a random relative or something. Yeah, she was passed away in 1963, so okay, yeah, that would have been impossible. Wow, that makes me think who it must have been. Anyway, I'll have to look it up sometime. I'm sure my parents might know. I'll have to ask them when I see them and see who it was. Yeah, I'm just thinking of the wrong name. I'm trying to think who it might have been. I don't know. I'll think about it and or ask and find out. I'm on the very northeast side. Tanya Tucker? I don't know. More obnoxious? No, don't say that, Jen. I think we all have the potential. But, maybe we put our best foot forward in situations like this, but it doesn't mean you're a bad person. People think I'm overly nice, but it doesn't mean that if somebody makes me mad, I can't not be nice. I think the whole state of Hawaii would mellow me out. One of the reasons I'm trying to get to Cali is the Midwest just bugs me for many, many reasons. And the weather is a big defining part in that. The uncontrollable, unpredictable. Who knows if you're ever going to be able to travel. I think I can deal with earthquakes and wildfires for the rest of my life, and I will not complain even an ounce. I'm incredibly excited to get out west, and not that I won't be back. I'll definitely be back to the Midwest and back here a lot, but I just feel like I'm a Californian waiting to happen. I've always had a California kind of mind, and it's always been just like sort of like Hawaii has just always been a place that I've wanted to be, and especially the weather. Like I said, I want to have the choice of whether to go and experience cold weather. I don't want to be forced anymore. I've dealt with it too much in my life, and things aren't even the same here now as it when I was little. So it's even more irritating living here now, and so moving somewhere where it's a little bit more stable at least in the temperature is something that that I need. So yeah, that's a lot like my friend that I've been talking to. He moved from Indiana to Chicago for a few years, and then got the opportunity and took it, and moved out to the San Francisco area, and has absolutely been in love with it ever since. He's never been happier. And to be able to make it out there and reconnect with him and live in the same area again with him and experience that whole lifestyle together is something that I'm really looking forward to. But yeah, it's always been a dream of mine though, since I was little. It's not anything new. But for about the last decade or so, we've been making different plans to make it out to Hawaii, or not Hawaii, excuse me. I'm reading chats but anyway, yeah, the California thing has always been, a dream that we've been working on, and he made it there, and yeah, he's really enjoyed it. He actually, I don't know who he worked with. He did IT work for a long time before I met him, and he once flew out to Cali and worked on somebody's studio setup. I can't remember. He ended up running into some famous rapper. It might have been Snoop Dogg, but it wasn't his studio, but it was would have been somebody that at the time that Snoop was using their studio to record. But I don't remember if it was actually him or if it was another person. But all I remember is the guy dropped like $100,000 on equipment for him to set up like in a single day. So it was someone that had a lot of money. So he must have been working with really. I remember it was a really big name rapper, or well, more than one, but just the person that happened to stop by that day when he was setting up. Your dad's from LA? Oh, wow. Yeah, I hear different things about LA. I think LA is one of those kind of love-hate cities. You either really love it or you want to get out. But I don't know if necessarily if I want to be in LA. Like I said, my friend lives in San Francisco area. Not in San Francisco, but right outside San Francisco. And so I guess my plan at this point is to eventually move somewhere sort of in between LA and San Francisco so that I have the ability to hook up with a lot of these YouTubers in LA, but still have the ability to get together with the people I know. And so yeah, I don't know if I ever intend to live in LA, but I think it'd be a neat place to live, though. I don't think I would necessarily hate it. I think, honestly, as somebody who enjoys so much culture and especially like food culture and really loves the variety and things, I really think that LA really would suit me if I did move there. But yeah, the air pollution in LA gets to me a little bit. I don't like cities where you can see the smog in the air. So LA does that brings LA down a few notches for me. But like in terms of what it has to offer, I think I would absolutely love LA, as well as San Francisco. I think they're both really unique and amazing cities, and have a lot of culture in them. And I think it'd be a neat one either way. So, but I know it's quite a ways away from San Francisco, and I'd hate to move all the way out to California and then still be like 6 or 7 hours away from, one of my best friends, and that's what he is. He really is one of my best friends, We've always been on one way or another trying to reconnect, and it's been hard, but oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's sad. A guy in New Jersey, in the city or the state? I'm assuming the city if we were talking about air pollution. I think Jersey, the nature out there is, and the more wild areas are actually really nice. But Atlantic City, it's like the Vegas of the East right there. Casinos and air pollution. And probably a lot of other things. But yeah, if you got booted from the city, that must have been a rough day. You're on the New Jersey black. Well, if there's any state in the union you could avoid for the rest of your life, I guess Jersey. Not to hate on any Jersey people. I've never actually been to Jersey. I've been to pretty much every state surrounding Jersey. Been to New York. I've been to Virginia, Maryland. But I've never actually, I don't even know if I've ever driven through Jersey. I've been to Pennsylvania. I've never been to Philadelphia. We vacationed in the Carolinas a lot when I was younger. That was a lot of fun. I always loved Myrtle Beach. It's probably the first place where I really kind of fell in love with the ocean and all that. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I used to have probably a worse temper, but it's more based on the individual. I have a long fuse. It's just certain people I have no patience with. I had a friend of mine that drove, I don't know if you're talking about semis or regular, like a box truck or whatever, but I had a friend of mine that drove a semi for a few years. He loved the travel of it, but he hated the hours. An Irish temper. Okay, yeah, same as him. Okay, yeah, I would imagine that would be a stressful job as well. Yeah, that would be a rough one. I know they have rough hours, and um, it can be a bad industry in terms of they don't always give you the proper amount of time you need to get from one place to another, and a lot of times I hear a lot of people have to end up breaking the rules just to deliver things on time, which is sad, and a lot of people end up getting hurt, just because they fall asleep at the wheel or feel like they're pressured to go faster than they should in places. So I guess that'll all be changing here once most of the semis are autonomous vehicles. Boxed like the sport or just like fighting in general? I actually had one of my cousins was a pretty big boxer. She was on ESPN all the time. I don't know, she might still be. I don't really keep up with her. I have oddly a lot of interesting connections in my family. Okay, a real boxer. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, not an uncle, but I don't know, a couple people in my family were really, really big boxers. I had to look up their names. 'Cause I know they were decently famous, not like huge. But I don't know, my one, it can really affect you after a while. Like, I know some of them, it was hard to even hold a conversation. They had been boxing for so long in their life and taken too many headshots. Not to make fun of them, just complete reality, you know. Like hit in the head so many times they had a hard time forming sentences, and that's one of the dangers that you can risk in that sport. But it takes a lot of physical endurance. Great respect for people that can do that. Seems to be the popular thing on YouTube nowadays. Everybody wants to box each other. But yeah, I think my one relative actually ended up sort of not directly but indirectly dying from it, just because of the head injuries. But yeah, that'd be one thing I don't think I could ever box. I have an okay pain tolerance. I don't think I'd necessarily be afraid to be punched, but like, hey, look, I'm not sexist in any way. You could probably knock me the F out, if you know what I mean. I don't know if I want to box anybody. That'd be funny, though. Maybe in a charity boxing match sometime you can knock me out. I mean, I wouldn't say, I may be small, I'm not a weakling, but I'm definitely not a boxer, though, either. I think if anybody had any talent whatsoever, they could probably knock me out in a round. "14 concussion." Yeah, that's about. Wow. That's a lot. Yeah, I think they usually say that 3's supposed to be the normal average limit for humans in concussions until it can cause some serious issues. So, yeah, you probably got lucky there that it didn't happen sooner. But yeah, I'd quit for life. I'd call it a day. I don't think you have any clout left to build. You proved your point. Yeah, I wish I knew some of their names. Yeah, I've been to New York. I've been to, my friend was born in New York City, and we went out there actually with my friend Ryan was dating at the time, and we were all buddies, and went out to New York City for a few days, and I stayed in Queens, and we rode the subway into the city and went exploring around Manhattan and Chinatown and everything down there. Had a lot of fun. But yeah, absolutely, I love New York. I'm younger. Oh, I was born in '83. But I don't know. But yeah, great place. I'm sure I'll go back. Definitely got plans. But at this point I'm trying to head out west before I head out east, because I've been out east before and Um, well, many times, and yeah, about time for that westward journey. Well, I hope I'm not that much younger. 11. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. I feel like we're all having an age contest right now. $78. Not a bad one. Not a bad one to be born. Don't have to claim to be an 80s kid. Can still hail from the heyday of punk. And miss all the 80s electronic rock. Nothing wrong with that. What day? Are we talking like day of the week? I suppose if I looked it up, I'm not one of those people that can come up with the tell you the truth, I don't even honestly remember when Groundhog's Day is. I don't pay attention to half the holidays. Oh yeah, I've still got all my 80s toys. Which mostly was just my Nintendo and Game Boy. When is February 2nd? Is this like Jeopardy? Well, you do live in Jurassic Park. I'm just joking. Hey, what's up, Alex? It must be morning for you. Are you just now waking up, or did you pull an all-nighter over there? I completely meant that as the place where Jurassic Park was filmed to, and not a an insult to any of to your age. So please don't take that the wrong way. That was one of my favorite movies growing up. So. That probably will definitely be the yeah, a soft one. Definitely doing the helicopter tour though. Yeah, I knew it was late over there. Or not late, early now. Um I have no idea what that meant. I was just referencing several streams ago. But yeah, good to have you, Alex. Um, Man, I wasn't even. Oh no, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I just looked at the time. Say I didn't think you guys were that far ahead of us, but I didn't realize how late it was here too. So it's 3 a.m. here, so that makes sense that it's 8 a.m. over there. Maybe. Oh man, I'm starting to feel it. Whoa, look like what in the world is going on with this thing? It's like rolled up. I think I'm having some issues. Jeez. There we go. That's better. It like rolls in on itself and it's because it's a reversible beanie. I don't recommend. They're fun because you can change them whenever you want, but they have 2 layers, and so they like do this weird thing. Oh, this whole chat has just gotten dirty. Fun spanking story, by the way. So my parents went to a restaurant in Vegas, and that was like the thing there. After you got done with your meal, you could get spanked by the waitresses. I don't know that any of them did it though. But apparently it's a very famous and popular thing to do in Vegas, is to eat food and then get spanked by the waitress. They showed me the website, and it was not soft. It was with gigantic paddles. Thank you, Alex. Yeah, this is from my punk band days. Yeah, this hat still looks all messed up. Okay, anyway, whatever. Maybe I should just change hats. I've got other hats in here. Yeah, I might as well just strip them because I suck at poker. I think anything could happen at Denny's, especially after midnight. I've been in way too many Denny's late at night. That and IHOP. But IHOP's one of those places like after midnight I don't even want to go in the bathroom because you just don't know what you're gonna run into. Maybe one day. I don't know how we could play poker over here. Unless we're just making wordplay right now. Well, I don't know how to make any sense then either, but yeah, right? It wouldn't really be fair. We'd have to move into a group chat. I don't think just because I'm so family friendly on 539 I'm always that way. Gotta keep things clean on YouTube. It's a family-friendly environment these days. Can't make it anywhere not being family-friendly. I guess ideally, if you have the cards stacked in your direction, that's the way to play. Oh, there's no whips on there. Hey, it's your rules. You down that chains or whips? There's... I think the chain would hurt. Actually, I have a whip story. From back in my car club days. Not anything too terrible. But I did have somebody have a crush on me once because I could make a whip crack. Although that being said, I did not make it crack on them. John Stamos. He does never age. Mud flap. We all do? You mean we all age or we all have whips? Oh. I swear I have no whips. Just the chains. I'm not sure if that's worse or better. It's making me think of a TV show that I just watched again. I think it was an HBO series, or maybe it's Showtime. Was it Weeds? If you ever seen the final season of Weeds, there's some references to such things. No. Yeah, it is an interesting story. So I'd just be wondering, the rest of it would make sense to it, and I would just be wondering why the word became mudflap. Like, I mean, I get the whole idea of a safety word, but how does it become mudflap? I don't know if I want to know, because the only thing I can think of when I hear mudflap is not necessarily I can crack a whip real good. Yeah. We'll leave that at that. Yeah, I think of it in I don't even know. What? No, I'm probably missing something. Apparently, anytime I mention whips, it gets everybody a 12 foot. what I can take. I've never had a whip done to me. But ask me in person someday. We'll keep this conversation clean until we're off YouTube. Maybe ask me in person someday and I'll elaborate. But a feather? I don't know if I ever had any feathers either. Look, it's not that it makes me uncomfortable. I just don't want my channel banned. I'll put it that way. We'll leave it like that. You want to have a conversation with me off the air sometime, and I'll go into more detail on things. I would say that very few people have the ability to make me uncomfortable, though. I'll put it like that, and then we'll just leave it like that. For the other way around, I could probably make you all feel uncomfortable. Not in a bad way. No, it's phones where I suck. That sounds bad itself. But no, I mean, we're doing 3 episodes every weekend, 3 to 4. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we have 3 more coming up starting this Friday, and then I'm not sure about next week. It just depends on when I take off on the bigger trip here. So, and then lots of summer plans for travels. So we're gonna have tons and tons of episodes. I'm way more comfortable on stream than I am on phone. Like, it's either in front of a camera or in person. Otherwise, I don't know what the in-between is, but I hate texting and I hate phones. I don't know why that is. Not for any good reason. But I'm like one of those people that kind of I never know what to say in a text. I like erase my text like 5 times and then rewrite it. Whether it's in this context or not, I'm not necessarily saying that in a bad way, but I'm just not a texter at all, or a phone person. I'm one of those people that just fall silent on the phone. I don't know what to say. I'm really good at talking in person, but I am not, for whatever reason, good at talking on the phone or texting people. I feel like it gives a misrepresentation of who I really am, because, like I said, for whatever reason, I never know what to say, and it's just because of the medium of communication. But yeah, I can listen. Like a voiceover guy, yeah. I sound like a blank space. Because I just lose track of everything and end up in silence. But no, I don't think I'd be any fun for anybody on the phone, and let alone a normal conversation even. That's why I always, even if I'm talking to my YouTube friends, I always text them. Because then I can sit there and think about the text for 15 minutes and then send them what I want to send them. Well, actually, Alex, we were just talking about that the other day. I will be designing new stuff, but if you go to this link here, there's all kinds of 539 merch there. Actually, I don't think Meg's with us right now, but one of our people that come on these streams on a regular basis, named Meg, just recently got one of my 539 designs, and turned out it looked awesome. I was so happy with the way the fade looked on it, and she got the design that I was actually wanting to see. But yeah, whoa, that got really big real quick. Okay, don't turn that into dirty stuff. I'm glad nobody can get clips of the, well, you probably could, but yeah, if you head over here, then you can see whatever merch that I have available. We've got stuff for men, stuff for women, stuff for children, stuff for babies, and even some dog items. Oddly enough, we've got some dog bandanas if you want to dress your dog up in 539 merch. Yeah, absolutely. I need to I recently changed my not my bank account, but I had to get a new card in it. The number changed, and unfortunately I completely forgot about it, and I logged into my email the other day, and but Photoshop has been screaming at me for like weeks in email saying, hey, your subscription's about to get canceled, and then they emailed me, hey, it's canceled. So I got to renew my subscription so I can do some more Photoshop work. But yeah, absolutely, I'll put a 539 Posse shirt up there. Just let me know what you guys think in terms of what would look better, whether to use the hashtag so that people know to use it on Twitter or something, or maybe I could even do both. I mean, I think some of the shirts can even have back and front side, but I've only done really stuff with the designs on the front. So, sure, absolutely, whatever you guys want. Honestly, I mean, tell the truth, it's more about what you guys like than, me. I mean, I've got plenty of ideas for designs, but if you guys have something that you really are wanting to see, then I would love to design something. I mean, like I said, I can do stuff with multiple, whether we do like a hashtag on the front and then like or a hashtag on the back, and do some sort of, like you were saying, like a posse member or whatever on the front. Then yeah, I guess I'll just I'll do a little bit of brainstorming, and then once I get this subscription renewed in the next few days, I'll mock a few things up and let you guys see it, and then we'll let you guys decide, and then that's what we'll put on the final shirt, if that sounds good. So but yeah, anytime you want to check out the merch, just head on over to this link up here and check it all out, and more will be coming over the next few weeks, and then yeah, I'll be uploading a lot of designs. But yeah, sounds like we've had a few people buy things, and been trying to get some photos from people. Meg sent over a photo, which was awesome. I wonder if I can put that photo up real quick. Let me see if I can download Meg's picture here. Hope she won't be mad that I'm like, she said it was a bad picture, and it so was not a bad picture. Like, so I hope she's not like embarrassed that I'm putting it out. Oh, maybe it's because it was a little bit out of focus, but I didn't think it was really a bad picture. But I don't know how I can even do this. All right, that didn't work. Ugh. All right, save image. That worked. Okay. Can I drag it over now? Downloads. So that's so yeah, I was really happy because you can see that it actually included the fade pretty well, and did it turn out the right? Okay, yeah, okay. I wasn't sure if her picture was reversed so that you couldn't see the 539 in the right direction, but I thought it turned out pretty cool. I think it looks really neat. I'm digging this whatever she has. I'm like circling it with my mouse, but you guys can't see it. But it almost looks like she's wearing dog tags, which I think is kind of cool. I actually thought, speaking of that, I actually thought at one time to start doing 539 dog tags. I thought that'd be kind of neat to add to the merch, but I can't do it on Spreadshirt. But yeah, I thought it looked really awesome. But so yeah, that's Meg wearing the official 539 merch. She is rocking it and looking awesome. And yeah, so I was very excited about that. And any of you who buy the merch, make sure to tweet me on Twitter, and I'll make sure to add your photos on my Twitter account, and hopefully I'll probably try and put that on Facebook too, as long as she doesn't mind. Like I said, if she doesn't want me to, I'm not going to. I don't want to embarrass her, but like, I think the photo looks awesome. Like, so personally, like, but yeah, I know even from personal experience, when I first started taking photos and videos of myself, I was very self-conscious, so I can understand. Wristbands? I don't know if I have wristbands or not. I don't think I have any at the moment, but I would love to get them. I've been looking at different places for different merch, and oh, there's my shop. Okay. We have hoodies, t-shirts. We got onesies for babies. We've got. Why is it not showing me everything? Okay, yes. Okay, let's see. Accessories. I got phone cases, buttons. Let's see what is in my. Actually, I don't even remember. It's been so long since I've done a lot of this that I don't remember. I've got mouse pads, and I've got dog bandanas. I'll have to see if I can do wristbands. I don't know if Spreadshirt will let you do wristbands, but if I can find another place that'll let me create wristbands, I would be more than happy to do it, because that would be a lot of fun as well. I think that'd be a real cool one, and a non-expensive item that I could offer to you guys that, again, like I said, wouldn't break the bank. Yeah, I'm not seeing at this moment that I can do it through here, but again, if I find a way of doing it, if it's like somehow in the in my merch store that I can create it, then I will. I almost feel paranoid now. I'm gonna take this off, and just in case like Meg stops in and is like really irritated that her picture's just sitting up there. I suppose technically the dog bandana would work. Say do-rag. Which I don't know why they don't offer just regular bandanas. It seems kind of odd to me that the only bandanas they offer are dog bandanas. I don't get that, but I will, like I said, I take everybody's suggestions seriously, and um, I will definitely look into it if I can do it. And I wanted to uh, try and edit some of these shirts. I know some people were looking for the light pink in some items, and for some reason they weren't available. So I need to get in there. I started to do that the other day, and then ended up having some other stuff to take care of, but I'm a close up of my face. You know, I don't mind being on camera anymore in photos. I don't know if I'd ever have merch straight up of just my face. Like, I should put on my little. Oh. Yeah, I've been thinking about buying a few items myself and wearing them in the videos. Really, I wish Spreadshirt would just send me samples, but pretty sure I gotta pay too. But I figure if it were really fair, they should at least send me one. Especially now that people have been buying stuff. They've made money off of me, so they should send me at least a sample. But whatever, I'll pay for it, it's no problem. No, you don't have to do that, Jen. I can, I probably should get a t-shirt here pretty soon, because really it's almost too hot for a hoodie. But it'd be good for nighttime too. Yeah, well, I'm assuming one of these days I'll work with I mean, Spreadshirt's legit, don't get me wrong. I love Spreadshirt. Lots of people use Spreadshirt, but eventually I'd like to work with a actual manufacturer that's gonna sit down and work with me to design different items that I can sell on an actual 539 website. And so eventually we'll get to that point, and those people do send you samples. So glow in the dark would be awesome. I mean, I got so many ideas that eventually I'm gonna need to upgrade from the Spreadshirt, so we'll get there eventually. I've got so much merch that I have in mind, and not just for promotion. I just love fashion in general, so I'd love to really broaden the horizons. Oh, that's what I couldn't figure out what was sitting there behind me. That's one of the sort of a pickup for my guitar. Yeah, and that would be fun to be able to design stuff like that, but Spreadshirt's a little bit limiting in where you can put your images. It's definitely a starter on the merch side, something that'll need to be upgraded later. But yeah, when we get to that point, a lot of the bigger merch companies that really make actual custom merch and not just the way that Spreadshirt does, a lot of them do offer those options. You can pretty much put anything anywhere with any design, any color scheme. I've never seen one with the glow in the dark, but I'm assuming that if you work with the right company, they can do just about anything. So, I mean, you can get anything from UV reactive dye to glow in the dark dyes. So I would imagine that almost anything would be possible with the right people. So Oh, did I never? Oh, I never even changed the name. I've still been rocking the Ghost Stories title. There, we'll just put a not in front of it. Now we're doing the Not Ghost Stories stream. That's what really is my description. Just says Instagram, but has no link to my Instagram. I don't know when I did all this stuff, but alright. I need to... A little late to be editing, but... Yeah, I don't know if you can get purple in the long sleeves or not. The t-shirts usually have more variety on Spreadshirt. So there might be purple. I can't even remember now. There were so many different items that we looked at last time. Let's see, there's the long sleeves. Oh, okay, there we go. Depending on the long sleeve you get, I am seeing purple. Oh, that's a sweatshirt. Weird. I need to go in and see if I can edit some of this stuff. But there is a crew neck sweatshirt available in purple. So some of the long sleeve items are available in purple, and again, sort of like the pinks, I might be able to expand that, and I'll try to do that as well. But yeah, yeah, in the future, I would definitely love to offer a lot more colors. So I don't know why it is that the short sleeve shirts are I just don't get Spreadshirt sometimes. I don't understand their strange variety of things. But I don't know, maybe it's just that I'm not seeing it too, because like there's so many different categories and I added so many different things. You might be able to find it. I mean, I'm still looking. And then some of these colors just look... Let me see here. See, some of it I can't tell if it's like a lavender. No, that's gray. Okay. Yeah, I'll go in and look at them and see if I can edit them, because yeah, the short sleeves are definitely available in purple, pink, fuchsia. What is that? Oh, that's like a red. It looked brown. Yeah. Yeah, it's still a little weird to me that the short sleeves are available in all these colors, and then the long sleeves aren't for some reason. The weird thing is that, like, even some of the different types of short sleeve are only available in certain colors. So, like I said previously, I'm kind of thinking that I need to go in and edit it because I might be able to open up a lot more colors. It's been so long since I've designed these shirts that I don't really know 100% if it's something that I did. It seems like it wasn't, though, just because I know I didn't make all these color choices back in the day, so I don't know. But if I am capable of doing it, then I will definitely get it done. Let me try one more thing. Sorry, guys. Yeah, for whatever reason, right now it's only showing that one long sleeve. But yeah, I'll look into it and see. If I can change it around, I'll change it. Yeah, it's definitely worth a shot to give it to do it. I mean, it's a lot of fun. But, it just takes a minute to get used to staring at a camera instead of at other people. You gotta pretend that you're looking directly at the people you're talking to and not this little camera. Still going, Ian. Barely hanging on. About to that point. But, I guess it's good we at least were able to stay up long enough to get some of the overseas people and hang out for a little bit. To be real honest, when I first started out, I really didn't either, though. I mean, I have a lot of social anxiety and that type of thing. So, the fact that I made it this far is, I mean, somewhat of a miracle in terms of getting used to how I address everybody and how comfortably I talk to everybody. But had I done this in 2015, it would have been nothing like this. Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a lot more comfortable now. Actually, honestly, I find, well, I'm probably, maybe it's the same for you too, but it was a lot harder for me to start singing in front of a crowd than it was in front of, like, a camera. I think now I'm pretty much ready, like, although I'm still a lot more comfortable with the microphone in front of my face and, an instrument in between me and people. Like, I could sing so much easier with an instrument in my hands. Or with someone else playing an instrument. That'd probably be the most, honestly, the most comfortable I could be to sing for the first time on a stream or on a video would be to have somebody else playing and me singing. 'Cause, I mean, I'm really good at singing. Like, I can sing, I can do harmony, I can do whatever it takes, but I think it makes me more nervous being on my own. But yeah, oh yeah, I grip the mic. If I do it on here, I'll be switching over to the mic stand. I would never just sit here like this and do like a singing stream. I'd be standing up in front of a mic stand at the very least. Yeah, with some of it, I'm reading the chat. My camera's way up here, and then the chat's way over here, so I'm looking right at it. Yeah, for sure. I mean, if I make it down that way, and you want to do a collab, yeah, I find it a lot easier to stand. Yeah, I can definitely hit a lot of notes I'm not capable of hitting well, at least, while I'm sitting. But, yeah, and I'm a lot more comfortable, like I said, especially when I have a mic stand in between me and whoever I'm singing to or at or for. I don't know what it was. I just hit a brick wall though. Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I need to go to bed here pretty soon. It's almost 4 in the morning here. We're about 15 minutes away from 4 in the morning. I can barely keep track of what everybody's saying. And I can't stop yawning. That's a bad sign. No, yeah, well, definitely. I'll definitely be down in the Texas area. About to yank my flag off the wall. No, it's never a short stream. This one's been, what, now? 3 hours and 14 minutes, and then we did 2 other hour-and-a-half streams before that, at least, I think. We've been doing at least 6 hours of streaming today. You'd have to fly out now if you were going to tuck me in. I'd fall asleep on the plane. Thank you, Debbie. Yeah, it should, You say that, Agnes, but I've had a few people say that to me seriously. Yeah. I mean, yeah. There's been a few, Oh, yeah. I've had to stop a few people from actually getting on planes. Some, a little bit too obsessive of fans, I guess. Not that I'm not trying to, like, classify you all as just fans. I just mean, I've had some people who I would only classify as fans who thought they had found their very obsessive soulmate. But no, but none of you guys, and you guys have all been great. But yeah, I'm pretty much out of it right now. I'm losing my mind here. Oh, you guys are awesome. I've definitely had a few people who are a little bit of stalkerish over the years. A lot of people that no longer are part of. I've had to block a few people because they were a little bit too. I don't even know. I'm sure they meant well. Yeah, don't say that. I'll end up passing out right here. Actually, there are a few. I think there's a few YouTube videos of people randomly falling asleep on stream and letting their stream go for like hours and hours while they were just streaming. See, I can't even keep track of my sentences right now. But anyway, yeah, fell asleep on stream. Yeah, I had somebody get mad at me once because I wouldn't give them my home address. And then they attempted to say that they knew all these celebrities and had them on speed dial, which made me think that they were lying even more. So, but yeah, it's amazing how overboard things can get so quickly. Yeah, I've had some people get a hold of information that I don't even know how they did it. I've had people text other people that I know to say that they were me and tried to get those people to talk to them as if it was me talking to them, even though they immediately asked me, you know, hey, did you change your number? Like, no. Like, oh, well, this person just claimed to be you. So I don't know how that happened, but yeah, it's amazing the lengths that people will go to get your information and the people around your information. I think there's been a few people that have tried to like follow me locally. I don't know, I've had some weird cases where like cars will just turn everywhere I turn no matter what. So I'll make random turns just to see if they're going to follow me, and they still follow me. And then I've had a few times where I pull in a gas station and there'll be cars pulling behind me and sit there and wait like at a gas pump until I come out of the gas station and then pull away, and then they'll pull away too. And I don't know on my phone number because I never answer any numbers that I don't know anyway. So like if anybody calls me from numbers that I've never seen before, I don't answer, and I've never had anybody leave me voicemails. So I don't know if anybody's ever actually called me. But I'm assuming there may have been a few of those that were people. Yeah, I don't get why people do stuff like that. Because it's like if you think I'm gonna be your friend because you followed me and stalked me, that's the wrong way to do it. Right, exactly. Yeah, it's definitely not paranoia. Yeah, I mean, there've been some real things, but um and just because I've talked to other YouTubers as well, and they've had the same thing. There's a lot of my YouTube friends have had to deal with the stalker side of things. Yeah, it's just weird stuff. I've had friends get called at 3 in the morning just to give advice on videos. Like, I've had friends that have woken up at 3 a.m. to FaceTime messages telling them they should be doing these type of YouTube videos instead of the type of videos they're doing. It's like, why are you calling their personal number at 3 in the morning to give them advice? Like, it's like people they don't even know. Yeah, that's why I pretty much, my Facebook account right now is absolutely nothing. It has my name and has no pictures, no information. I removed everything. I was getting way too many people, and they weren't even fans at some points. There was just people that would add me that it was like, I don't even know how they knew me or where they came from, or it can be scary. And then when it starts bleeding into your normal life, that's when I don't think there's any level of careful you can be and avoid some of these people. It's like once somebody becomes obsessed, they're gonna do whatever it takes to get the job done. And again, you never know what access they have to information. So they might have access to information that they're not supposed to use that way, but yet they have the capability of using it that way. It's like when I worked at certain retail electronics stores doing IT support. It's like we had huge databases of people's information, and if you were smart enough, you could go on there and find celebrities' information as long as they'd used the real name. But it's just whether or not you're smart enough to realize you shouldn't be doing that. But if you were to take advantage of it, you could get people's information and they wouldn't even know how you got it, and that's the unfortunate part. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, even with Facebook, there's always a way around. And then, I don't think that a lot of people realize just how widespread your information is, even if, you are locked down, a lot of places will sell your information for money. Even places that haven't gotten in trouble yet, there's way more people out there selling your information than a lot of people think. Like, go to InfoUSA sometime. Anybody can buy your information legally and safely. You'd be surprised. But yeah, it helps to be in the IT field. But one thing I've learned, even being in the IT field for so many years, was that thank you, I appreciate that very much. But yeah, there's a few ways around here and there. Mostly it's like I said, like retail databases. A lot of people aren't using traditional methods to get your information. A lot of people are actually using systems that otherwise you would want in place, like it's like if you go to Kroger's and you have your Kroger card, you know, technically if somebody working at Kroger's wanted to use that information to get in touch with you, the right person could, no matter what. So, you know, really, I mean, if you're in the public eye, I guess the thing is to not ever give your information out to anybody, including retail outlets, because you never know who's working there that might try and look you up through that private system. And I mean, I know for a fact working at those outlets that you know, well, I had celebrity clientele, first of all. I mean, so we had all of their personal information, so if we wanted to have used it, we could have, but we didn't, obviously, because we were very respectful of people. But like I can tell you firsthand that there's a lot of celebrities that use their real names at places out there, you know, and unfortunately that's searchable by employees, even though it's not by the public, but all it takes is one employee, you know. But yeah, you just gotta be careful. But yeah. But yeah, thanks for joining us, Sonny. I appreciate you stopping in, and I'm glad you like everything, and always good to see another computer person. And yeah, the Facebook's a big one. You always got to keep that locked down, though, especially with the recent information theft and whatnot that ended up happening with their apps and whatnot. So yeah, that's what I hate. It's because, you know, it's like even stuff where normally you would want to have, you know, the ability to get a hold of you, you know, there might be somebody working there that's just gonna use that information. And so it's like once you get to a certain point, it's like you almost ever have to use a pseudonym, or have to have somebody else sign up for these things for you under like a different name, or under their name, I mean. So yeah, it gets complex, but so far I haven't had terrible luck. I've only had a few random things here and there, but I have gotten fairly lucky. But there's still a few places out there that I need to remove some information from. So fortunately, I don't think they're places that anybody would ever think to look. So I don't think I'm going to have an issue. But wow, it is 4 in the morning. I'll tell you, if we ever go on tour and I need security, I'll hire a few of you. You know, 80-pound black lab? Is that big? I don't even know for labs. My friend that I was just talking to, Ryan, had a a Great Dane. I can't remember how much that thing weighed. One of the nicest dogs in the world. But he could pin you against a wall, but it usually was just because he wanted to be pet and he was leaning up against you. He wasn't actually trying to be rough or anything. He just didn't realize his own weight. I think the dog weighed way more than I did. I don't even remember. It was like, I think it was, yeah, it was like almost 200 pounds. Maybe even more. I don't even remember. It was huge. It was one of the pretty big Danes. I don't know. I know it felt like a human leaning against me, and not an animal. I appreciate that, Agnes. Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, a lot of Danes think that they're lap dogs. So I can't tell you how many times I was laying on the couch or fell asleep on his couch, and I'd wake up with a 6-foot Great Dane attempting to share the couch with me because it just wanted to snuggle. I mean, again, nicest dog in the world, but not aware of their own size. Yeah, the Mastiffs are huge too. Those are another one. Yeah, I've got photos of it somewhere. I've got to find those sometimes. But, yeah. Oh, alright. Oh, I was wondering what that was. Hoping to get an answer back on the notifications sometime in the next few hours. YouTube said 1 business day, and so 1 business day is going to end sometime within the next 5 to 10 hours. So hopefully by the next time that we have sorry, I'm trying to sell something on Twitter. Anyway, but hopefully by next time we have new episodes coming up this weekend, all the notifications will be working correctly. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly how everything's going to work from here on out. But either way, as I've said so many times, it's all going to be weekend episodes, so no, this is fairly typical. It's more odd than I'm tired. But yeah, my friend Ryan's would lay on the bed like that. It would use the pillow just like a human, and just, yeah, it was pretty funny. Sometimes we'd, go out and do things, and we'd come home and the Great Dane was sleeping in the bed. Normally dogs kind of curl up, and it would lay stretched out with its head on the pillow. But again, they're very gentle animals, and very intelligent. But yeah, it was one of those animals. It hated it when other dogs didn't obey. So if you were to yell at one of his other dogs to come, and the dog didn't come in time, it would run and get the dog and make sure that it understood that it needed to come back. It was very angry if other dogs didn't listen and do what they were told. So he would be the enforcer. Actually had one of his dogs ran away once while I was not ran away, like disappeared, but started taking off, and the Great Dane ran after it and caught it and pretty much tackled it because it was angry that it didn't listen to me. So Yeah, they're a great dog to have, especially if you need to wrangle the other dogs in your life, because they'll go fetch, and they'll go fetch other dogs if you're not able to get to them. Yeah, it's pretty interesting to see a Great Dane check another dog and knock it over and then basically boot it back to the door. Absolutely. It really was. Alright. It's 4 in the morning. I can't even think straight anymore. Normally I'd probably stay up a few more hours, but I am tired, so I appreciate all of you tuning in to like 7 hours of live streaming we've done today. And we'll be back tomorrow. We'll be doing either a road vlog or, like I said, if I, for whatever reason, I'm able to do a live stream on the way home, I'll do that too. But it just depends. I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to go over my data limit, but I haven't got any warnings yet. So it seems like I might be able to do another stream, but it just depends. So, but yeah, thanks everybody. I appreciate you all so much for tuning in, and yeah, if you haven't checked out any of the recent 539 episodes, it was 3 brand new ones last weekend. So if you haven't caught up on those, then make sure you do that. And otherwise, appreciate all of you hanging out. It's been a lot of fun. So thank you guys. Yeah, thank you. Absolutely. Aaron, Sunny, Agnes, Alex, Debbie, Jen. I don't know if I'm missing anybody that's here. Debbie, of course. And yeah, to anybody that's watching and not chatting, I appreciate you all stopping to watch too. And you guys have a great night and a great day if you're overseas. And yeah, I will catch y'all tomorrow.